Question of the day. What is your favorite stressful game? Now, there are a lot of these out there. There are games like Kites. Boy, that is a stressful game. There is Escape the Curse of the Temple, the one where you're running through the temple. All those, right? There's Zombie 10, Zombie 15, whatever it's called. You only got 15 minutes. Games that cause stress as a part of the mechanic. Because today we're taking a look at Fuse Countdown from Kane Klinko. Kane, this is for you, by the way. So we're going to take a look at this. We're going to see if we can blow through this like that West Texas wind. Brother, I would love to see how many of these references I could cram into this intro just for you, but that would be something beautiful. So we're going to take a look at Fuse Countdown. Sorry, I'm cracking myself up. Fuse Countdown, Kane Klinko. Right now, all about disarming an explosive device in a ship. It's a real-time 10-minute dice game for Renegade Games where you're going to cooperatively play to do these things. We'll show you how it plays. Come back up, talk final thoughts right now. Alright, so this is Fuse Countdown set up for 2 players. And you're going to have a stack of cards based on the player count and the difficulty. You're going to place 4 face up. You're going to deal 2 to each player. And then you're going to give each player a random roll face down. Random. He may look like a hot dog, but you're wearing an actual hot dog costume. Sorry. Anyway, so after rolling the dice, you may re-roll any dice up to 3 times. After rolling the dice, you may change the number of any one of the rolled dice. The way the powers work is, whosever turn it is, holds the bag, draws the dice, and rolls the dice. Now everybody will use the dice. You'll take some out, each of you. But the person who's got the bag is the person whose power is active. What we're trying to do is disarm these bombs. Now there are different ways and combinations of doing this. So let's just say in 2 players we'll draw out 4 dice. There's a pretty interesting rule in there that says if you draw out less, go ahead and draw till you get 4. But if you draw off more than 4, throw them all back in and redraw. That stops you from, I guess, eyeballing what you need. So let's look at how some of these are to be solved. So this one takes 4 dice total, but it's got 3 slots. So the first slot can take a 1 or a 2. Second slot can take a 3 or 4, then a 5 or 6, and then above the middle one, it has to be a green. So it would be, the 1 and 2 here, 5 and 6 here, 3 and 4 here, and then the green would be on top of the middle. Once you've placed that, and you can let it sit there for a couple rounds. Once you place that, you then pull this off, throw these dice back in here, put this up here, draw in your victory pile, and draw a new one out, and then another one will come out up there. Essentially what you're doing is you're going to be disarming all of these in 10 minutes. They all work like that. Now some are more puzzly based. This one says any number is with the question mark, maybe any dice, but this number has to be greater than that one, and these 2 have to equal in color. So you have to really solve this as 3 steps. These 2 have to match in color. This one just has to be greater than that one. Same thing here. So you have a 4, a red, any number, and then that one must be completed last. So that one's fairly easy. But anyway, you're going to do this until you're done. If you were to ever pull enough dice that you could not place one due to the cards that you have out there, you'd have to take a spark dice. And these are just little extra puzzles. You're going to play until either the timer runs out or you win. And that is how you play Fuse Countdown. So that's Fuse Countdown. Now, I have not played the other Fuse games, just so we're clear. I just want to point out this is the first one I played. I have played Kane's other games, some of the other real-time games he's played. In fact, I played a real-time game with him, which was Ready, Set, Bet, and that was a blast. But very interesting mind that goes into these types of games of making a real-time game that does feel like a puzzle. It does feel stressful. You have to remain calm under the stress because unlike me and Kites, when I'm yelling, turn it over to the red one, flip to the red one. You got to kind of remain calm in this one because you have to evaluate the dice. But what makes this one difficult is the equations you have to solve, some of them. Now, let's talk how we do. We do art, then art direction, how it influences the game, and then the game itself, how it plays. So art, first of all, the game looks interesting. Carla differed on me. She didn't like the art of the characters very much, but something about them I like. It's almost like it reminds me of like Deus Ex or some of those early 2000s PC games, where it had the rendered backgrounds, rendered drawings and stuff like that. It reminds me of that. So I appreciate that art in this. The theme doesn't matter so much as far as being on a spaceship or being on a bomb squad. It really doesn't matter. Although, because you're doing these complex disarmings, it kind of makes sense that it's in space versus just snip the red wire, snip the yellow wire. I thought you said the red one. You said the blue one. Riggs, I did say the blue one. Anyway, you're talking about all sorts of disarming these different bombs. So that's how the game looks. Now, how that plays into art direction, there are symbols for what you have to do with each different type of bomb defusal card. And those can be tricky. Some of them, you need to familiarize yourself with the symbols before you start the timer. Some of them you're going to look at and go, crud, what does that mean again? Which is actually kind of part of the fun. You have to quickly grab the rule book and be like, no, that one means you have to do it last, right? So you need to know what these are. And some of them, this is not so much like symbology. This is, you have to think it out. Okay, wait a minute. This one has to be equal to this one, but it has to be greater than this one. Or these two numbers have to equal this, and it has to be this color. And you have to think through, okay, out of these dice that I have, how can we solve this? So it's a very thinky game when it comes to that. Thankfully, it does make sense when you look at the cards once you familiarize yourself with how it plays, what to do on each card. Some of them require you to build a ziggurat shape or a pyramid shape, where you build on top and put a dice on top of all four base ones. Some of them require you to build like this symbol where it's 3 on the bottom, 2 on the top, and none in the middle. Some of them require you to build straight up, which is funny because you don't have to build them in a certain order typically, except for some of the ones that you have to build up, obviously, which is a little difficult. There are some other ones that are just really cool the way you have to do them. Some of them require split dice. Some of them require, this color match this number, or whatever color you put on this one, the number then has to match that color. A lot of great puzzles to really think through, and each card is different, which makes it kind of exciting and interesting. That timer that Renegade provides in the app is wildly stressful, and I like that. At the end of the day, this is an excellent party game. This is going to make our party game table. I have 4 guys, or me and 3 others included, who we always play the stressful games together. It's our Kites group. We finally beat Kites. We're going to beat this game, and we're going to win bigly on this because there's a lot to do. Bigly, that's funny. There's a lot to do, and we're gonna just continue to play this over and over. And it's that kind of game where you want to play it with that same group every single time you see them. So we'll be like, hey, remember last time? Remember when we were so close? This is a great game. I really like Fuse Countdown. It's a perfect party game. It's stressful, just know that. But the good news is it takes 10 minutes exactly, because maybe 2 for setup and 2 for teardown. So 14 minutes, you're out the door with this game, hitting the table, playing it. Maybe in between big games, maybe when other guests are waiting to arrive, maybe when everyone else has gone home for the evening. But this is a perfect party game night game. So can't say enough good things. I really enjoyed Fuse Countdown. I think it's a blast to play. See what I did there? Didn't mean to do that. Really fun, and I just enjoy it. So hopefully you enjoyed. Check it out. Let me know in the comments below what you think of Fuse Countdown. Until next time, I'm Bryan Drake here on the Dice Tower. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, etc. at Dice Tower Bryan. And then make sure to check out the Dice Tower store, where you can get all sorts of great Dice Tower merch right now. Until next time, we'll see you.